didn't look at the runner show, did you? The power of individual words and language and literature and books, it's essential material in terms of communication and relationality with another person. You can't get very far without it.
As a young boy, 16 or so, it was a chance reading of A Streetcar Named Desire sort of illuminated my mind in terms of what writing could be. It was dramatic writing, so it was mainly dialogue, and I just found it effortless to read and was so beautiful, and the characters were so touching to me.
I don't have a memory of myself as anything except knowing that I would be a writer. My childhood was one of real isolation. I ended up playing by myself a lot in the woods. It gave me my first image of the beauty of the physical world. I was a tremendous reader. There was very little else to do.
Having grown up in the segregated South, that I had a middle school where we had dance and madrigal singers and a band and a chorus and all of these things that our parents insisted that we should have in school, and that kids should be encouraged to speak from the inside out, and that is best done through the arts.
My dirty little secret is that I never studied history in school, and I was an English major who wanted to be a novelist, and I was always taking a course in the 18th or 19th century novels. So everything that I've written about, for better or for worse, has been self-taught.
There was a library on Allerton Avenue in the Bronx, and I would go there and I would take all the books and I'd stay up late in the night reading. So I read all of Hemingway or all of Fitzgerald.
I consider myself a storyteller because every song has a theme. I don't think we as singers spend enough time sort of thinking about what it is we're actually saying rather than singing, because it means a different thing if you're really relaying a story of some kind.
To do something as a young person and get a lot of acclaim and then have to live up to that has been tough on many artists throughout history. My attitude was I was doing it right from the beginning. I was trying to invent myself. I knew I was never going to make a film as successful as The Godfather again. Everything is putting on a show. The two key things, I think, are writing and acting. You can see a movie that has the most beautiful photography, the most fabulous art direction and music and stuff. If it doesn't have acting and writing, it can't really get you.
When I was first writing Amy and Isabella, I just remember thinking, if this can only find 1 or 2 readers, I just will have done my job. And it obviously found more than that. When my work was transitioned to the screen or the stage, it's been a very strange and wonderful experience. I mean, Frances McDormand and Richard Jenkins did such a wonderful job with Olive Kitteridge.
Back in the fall of 2008, I ran into my friend. He said that this hip-hop artist whom they knew had read my Hamilton book and it had made an enormous impression on him. Next thing I knew, Lin invited me to see him perform in his first musical. And we were talking backstage. He said, you know, Ron, Hamilton's life is a classic hip-hop narrative. And I'm thinking to myself, pal, I have no idea what you're talking about. Then, most amazing of all, he asked me on the spot to be the historical advisor to this as yet non-existent musical.
When I was working on Citizen, I wasn't thinking, oh, what I would like is to change the way police treat Black people. I was actually thinking about what does it feel like to live inside of this? And if anything, I feel like the book and its reception and perhaps popularity has to do with the fact that people's feelings were being recognized and honored, even if the justice system was ignoring that.
The summer after my freshman year, every evening I went up to the main reading room at the 42nd Street Library, and I wrote a god-awful book about my god-awful freshman year at Yale. But it did get me started wanting to be a writer. So it all started at the 42nd Street Library. They either have to take the blame or the credit, whatever they want, but they've been very central in my life.
Books hold the past and the possibility of the future. There have been so many writers that have come into my life to show me what's possible on the page, and you can always find them in a library.
I always loved the New York Public Library because my brother had told me that down below in the stacks, the young kids went around on roller skates and selected the books and then put it in the elevator and would go up. I never knew whether that was true or not. There is definitely that story, and in my movie, that's what happens.
When I'm in a library, I feel like I'm in a place where there's a step away from the ordinary world, and there's a sense of something special that can happen or is happening there.
There's a life there that is wonderful. And I've always been so pleased in a very small way to be a part of the public library, and to be given this honor is beyond my imagination, truly.
do you follow that? So that was the video from Library Lions, which was, what, 3 weeks ago, something like that? Really amazing. So thanks to Carrie and the team for bringing that event together. I will tell you, you don't see it in the video, but there was a surprise at that evening when we were giving a lion to Jesse Norman, one of the great singers of a century. And we had asked Renee Fleming, another great singer of the century, to perform. And Renee asked Jesse quietly, without telling any of us, at least telling me, whether when she got to singing, whether Jesse would join her in a duet. So I'm sitting on stage, I'm listening to Renee Fleming, who I think is amazing, and suddenly there's another voice. And I'm looking around, and then there's a spotlight, and it's Jesse Norman. And the two of them are in duet for the first and only time in history. Nice job if you can get it. What can I say? It's just unbelievable. So, good morning. I'm Tony Marks. Welcome to the Schomburg and the 2018 Library Leadership Awards. Thanks to Craig and the team for bringing us together. All that's good news, and I'll continue with that, but unfortunately I need to start with some less happy news. We learned just at the end of the day yesterday of the passing of one of our dear colleagues, Justin Van Poelvoorde, I probably just massacred that, who had been at NYPL for 17 years. He was an adult librarian at Roosevelt Island, beloved by his colleagues and by the community, and he will be greatly missed. Let us just take a minute of silence to think about Justin. When we have more news from the family, we will, of course, let you know. It is always a pleasure to be up in Harlem, Schomburg, and thank you to the whole Schomburg team for welcoming us. Ket will have the honor and pleasure to hear from our director, Kevin Young, shortly. We're also live streaming for the second year in a row, so hi everybody out there. We do that because we want everyone to be a part of this day. Not everyone can travel or get out of whatever they're doing, but because this day is about you, about all of the amazing work that you do to make this institution so incredible. None of it matters without you. None of it would be without you. And that's why we want to gather, and we love to do this event, to celebrate what you do to make this an incredible institution, one that transforms, inspires, and empowers the communities we serve. You are indeed getting more people to read more. It's a phrase I'm getting used to. In fact, just this year so far, we have 150,000 new library card holders. We have an incredible exhibition. We have many incredible exhibitions. I was just at the Black Power exhibition upstairs. If you haven't seen it, don't leave the building without seeing it. It is closing today, so I urge you. At the Schwartzman Building, we have the Anna Atkins exhibit that's been getting incredible reviews. Book Ops continues to do what they do best and proving it to our friends on the West Coast by smushing them in competition. I mean smushing in the most loving possible way. The Schomburg, in addition to everything else you'll see in the building, has acquired a lost chapter of Malcolm X's autobiography. The communications team put together, I hope you saw it on Friday, an incredible ad in the New York Times mimicking Black Friday ads for Macy's or whatever to talk about free books available for all, free returns. Thank you, Carrie, again, and team. I've never gotten so many emails, but I've also never run a full-page ad in the New York Times before. What was the other one? Never mind. Sorry. Oh boy. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Give me a second. So, you know, when you all, I'll honor that, work together, have an unbelievable impact on this city and beyond. I'm going to go off script. We just went through Thanksgiving. It's an interesting holiday. It supposedly celebrates all of us together. There were some unfortunate events around that togetherness through the course of several centuries that we pretend not to notice. We certainly try not to celebrate. But it makes it all the more powerful a holiday to think about what we're doing and the moment we're living in. This institution, what you do and make possible, what you all do and make possible, is committed to a really very precise set of goals, a vision, a mission. It says we're about inclusion of everyone, that everyone should come to us, be welcomed and respected, whether you are illiterate or the most literate. This institution uniquely is committed to moving you forward, wherever you're starting or wherever you've come to us. There is no place else that is committed to that. We are committed to inclusion because we want us all to learn together, and we want us all to be able to sit together and live together. And we are an institution that believes in facts. Not only because they are, but because we know that if we live in a society that doesn't understand that there are facts and fiction and the difference, we will have nothing by which to call account to those who govern us. And if we do not believe in facts to call our leaders to account, then we cannot call them to account. And the liberal democracy that I have always assumed would continue long after us, that my children would live in, is at risk. That is the moment we live in. Makes me so, proud isn't even the right word, but incredibly moved, incredibly fortunate to work with you and to work in an institution that is committed to the values we hold dear, that feel like they have never been under greater threat in my lifetime, and that we will ensure persevere. Thank you. Thank you for that. We're here to celebrate. I am sorry that our board chairman, Evan Chesler, couldn't be here with us today, but he asked us to share this message with you.
I'm Evan Chesler, the chairman of the board of New York Public Library. I'm pleased to welcome you today to the Library Leadership Awards. And I'm pleased that the ceremony is being hosted at the Schomburg. The board met recently at the Schomburg Center, and the trustees were literally blown away by the power of the collections, and of course, by Kevin and the Schomburg staff. I want to thank each of you for your contributions and dedication to the library's important work. The library has always been very important to me. When I was a boy growing up in the Bronx, it was a safe, warm place that had the potential to take me to places I would not otherwise go. And there are millions of people in this city for which the promise of the library still exists. The Lolas are awarded to individuals and teams across the library that strongly support the mission and strategic direction of our institution. Today, you will learn about what makes the library special, teams of people working together to help our communities. This year, the strategic alignment efforts have brought together staff from across each division of the library to partner in one central goal: more people reading more. A literate society is critical to our democracy. Your efforts are what make this all happen. Whether it's guiding scholars to the right archive, running a story time for a neighborhood pre-K class, or getting new people to sign up for library cards. So I'm very grateful for all that you do to support those great efforts. Thank you very much.
Are we ready? Oh, you can do better than that for the people at the other end of the live stream. Let's hear it. All right. Welcome again to the Lola Awards. Some people have their Oscars, some people have the Emmys. We have the Lolas, and we're very pleased to welcome you here to the Schomburg Center. One thing that stands out to me about the winners this year is we talk a lot about more people reading more, but part of that strategy is working together. I think that you'll find through the stories we're about to tell you today that this is the entire organization working together to achieve our goal of more people reading more. And I think that story will come through today, and also our core values of curious, helpful, and resourceful. So without further ado, let us begin to recognize our Leadership Award winners.
The words that come to mind when I think of Becky Fifield are professionalism, excellence, and science. I actually think of Becky as a scientist, which is really a wonderful thing to have in a library.
The library is really fortunate to have a dedicated professional like Becky working here. Everything she does is in the service of the collections. She's always thinking how to keep them safe.
She really understands the material science of library materials, the challenges that we face, and the opportunities as well.
And she's a real crusader. I mean, there are meetings we're in with Becky where she, you know, these materials are like I almost want to say like living, breathing things to her.
What also really impresses me about Becky is her can-do attitude. She just rolls up her sleeves and will crawl through all kinds of spaces to understand the HVAC system, whether there's water hazards, and whether there are other conditions that are not acceptable.
A couple weeks ago, our dishwasher broke and flooded, and my first instinct was to call Becky Fifield, and my wife had to remind me that she works at the library and she couldn't help me with my at-home flood issues. But that speaks to just how sort of ingrained the help Becky please is, and how we all feel that she supports us.
I already find it hard to imagine what would happen to the collections if she was not here with us.
The amazing thing about Becky Fifield is for a person to be here for, 2 years now and already be a completely indispensable part of the organization speaks to the quality of her work.
I don't know what we would do without her.
Thank you so much. I think about preservation as taking place over hundreds of years, and my contributions only for a few decades, so I never thought our time horizons would align enough to receive this award. So I'm very humbled by it. Preservation takes so many voices, and I'd just like to thank a couple of them. My colleagues in preservation and collection processing, you're the most dynamic and brilliant group I've had the joy of working with. My teammates in collection management and the Office of the Registrar, your dedication and your commitment, it just inspires me every day. And my supervisor, Bill Stingone, thank you for encouraging me to come to the library. Thank you for challenging me relentlessly and just being great to work with. And back to work. So many of you I get the pleasure of working with from facilities, capital planning, security. Thanks so much for being great to work with.
When we went to Rob and we said, okay, this is going to be the first kickoff on Staten Island, and we want to make this big, we want to make this special, and we know that you and your team can make this happen, Rob was more than happy to jump in and do this.
It was a really good opportunity to showcase Staten Island. So one of the things I wanted to make sure to do was to focus on making sure that the event was very Staten Island centric.
There were a ton of other librarians from Staten Island that were helping out at the event, from wearing the lion costume to doing story time to exploding a watermelon.
You know, we had artists and musicians that we've partnered with before. Some were new partnerships, but just seeing libraries as an extension of our neighborhoods.
They have a staff band, the Dewey Decibels, that performed the opening act for the kickoff.
And by the time the opening ceremony began, like all of the chairs were fully packed with people standing, and you could just see this momentum growing. And it was at that point that I realized, like, we got this. This is it.
Everybody is proud of us, proud of our team.
1,400 people is an astounding feat, and I know that this is a testament to every single one of you and the work that you did on the back end to ensure the success of this event.
So I just want to say that this was a huge collaborative effort that really showcased library staff working together. And with that, I do want to ask that everyone who was involved with the planning, the promotion, and marketing of this event, please stand. Our education departments, my fellow Staten Island colleagues, security, all of you stand, and please give all of these people a round of applause, including a round of applause to all of those who couldn't make it here today. Thank you.
I am absolutely thrilled that the Inwood project team was able to win this award.
The Inwood project is creative, unique, and complicated.
Innovative, and it was ambitious.
So the Inwood project was a tricky one.
There were multiple external stakeholders and relationships that needed to be managed.
Getting through the public approval process in New York is a battle.
And this team did it. They worked together really great. They were able to deal with all the city agencies and with the community.
Attending community board meetings, hosting community conversations, having those intimate conversations with her team as well as members of the public, you know, just so that they understand what's going on.
There were many community meetings and a ton of planning and preparation across a number of library departments.
And it was one of the examples where people from all walks of the library came together with their expertise and made it go smoothly.
Together, really, you know, over many months, sort of got in the trenches, in the front lines, and saw this project to the finish line, which to me was incredible.
So at the end of the day, we, the library, are going to get a new 20,000 square foot facility up in Inwood. This is just wonderful. Wonderful for the library and wonderful for the Inwood community.
Good morning. We want to thank Tony and all the chiefs for the honor of this award and for recognizing both the importance and the unique challenges of the Inwood project. We recognize the project for its merits from the beginning, and as the library manager and an Inwood resident, the value of a brand new library for my community is always very apparent. But for many outside factors, it wasn't easy getting it to the starting line. It took people from a multitude of departments bringing expertise to the table, working with elected officials, the public, the press, and in the end, working together, we did it, and Inwood will get a brand new public library. We're proud of this and proud of the honor for the award, and we have a special thanks for George Mahaltsis and for Iris, who as officers are not up here, but were essential to the process. And of course, great big thank you to my Inwood Library team, who I might. Who every day managed a not so easy public service situation with grace and professionalism and good spirits. Thank you every day. And thank you.
I'd like to begin by thanking the Accessibility Working Group for the efforts they put into, and more importantly, the work product they produced with regard to a topic that is extremely important to an institution that opens its doors to everyone.
I think what makes this team very special is that we have a group from a variety of different departments in the library who are all passionate about helping people gain better access to the library and its collections.
It was a collective effort from many different parts of the library. The neighborhoods are all different, and how librarians bring their experiences to those differences really enabled us to get to the core of what was most important for us to emphasize.
Our efforts span multiple different ways. They start with our facilities and how we care for people when they walk through our doors, and how we provide access to our physical and digital collections so that more people can read more.
And what this group has allowed us to do is to really find out how much more we have in common with people who may have some sort of disability, whether it's a developmental disability, whether it relates to physical disability, it really doesn't matter. And of course, what about the fact that if we're all lucky enough, we get older? So this work has been critical to removing what I would call the unknown.
For a democratic institution like this library, it's important to provide meaningful access to its collections and services.
So I thank them for breaking down the walls that might exist both literally and figuratively, because we can now deliver a work product that's based on the experiences of people who are living this and helping patrons every single day.
So we all came to this group, I think, highly motivated. Obviously, it's a motivating topic, but we drew so much more motivation from everybody that we engaged with out there in the library, especially over the last year, and just all the excitement from our colleagues around this topic. So thank you all for that, and especially those of you who have been exceptionally supportive to our efforts and helpful. Thanks to Tony and the Chiefs for creating a climate, an organizational climate where inclusion and public service virtue are things that can actually really thrive here, and people have sort of cover to do those things that are a little bit more challenging and make their work a little bit more difficult, but in the end make our institution that much better for all people of all abilities. I want to thank Johannes, the former chair, and all others who've helped us along the way to make the incremental improvements and the sort of more large-scale things that we've done. We've got a lot more work to do, and we really look forward to teaming up with everybody here and keeping the momentum going and making some progress. Thank you.
Very rare set of talents that all of these people embody. You know, Brent, Daphna, Vanessa, Garfield, Johannes are an incredible group of people. They're effective, they're smart, most of all, they're funny, they're fun to work with.
I think the library, today and in the future, owes a great deal of thanks to all the people that led the Strategic Alignment Initiative.
They talked to our customers, they talked to our employees to discover what are the biggest issues facing more people reading more, and came up with solutions to drive the process forward.
What really impressed me about that work was that we're no longer just in the planning phase, we've actually moved into the implementation phase. I think that's a sign of a successful strategic planning process.
And it's really exciting to anyone who loves and cares about this library and the future of library service that we're all focused and working together as a team now towards common goals.
The whole strategic alignment team did a great job. The team leads had their work cut out for them. I think when it was over, Vanessa was devastated because she thought it was such a great way to expand her work, to learn more about the library, to meet everybody across the library. She really did a stellar job.
And so for all the work they've done and pushing forward our strategic vision and making that happen and making that a reality, I'm grateful for them. I think this organization should be grateful for them, and congratulations to all of them.
So I had some prepared remarks because I always have to prepare for these things, but instead I just want to ask everybody who was involved in the strategic alignment process to stand up. If you were in a group, everybody. No, seriously, if you were in a group, if you took a meeting with one of us, come on. If you were... So yeah, I was going to say thanks to the Chiefs for putting this together and for being our sponsors. Thanks to my team, two of whom are missing today, Daphne and Johannes. But mostly, thanks everybody. I think the best thing about this strategic alignment process was how we widened our circles and deepened our relationships and talked to each other. This was wonderful. As Carrie mentioned, I was devastated, but at least I got to know a lot of you. So thank you.
I'm so happy that they're being commended and honored today, because people love all the work they do, but they don't realize that what they're loving is just one of maybe 700 things a year that they produce, and they touch every single part of the library.
The first things that a lot of future patrons see are the things Creative Services puts together.
They provide high level of expertise when it comes to just the branding and the skin, and what that really communicates to communities is that this is the NYPL brand, this is something that we can trust, and this is something that we know will be something for all people to engage in.
I really enjoy working with the Creative Services team. They're incredibly patient, thoughtful, and they bring great ideas to the table.
They sort of help you take your idea and transform it into the thing that will speak to our audiences, the things that will help us show the world what it is that we're attempting to do.
The sort of merchandising tools that Creative Services made for the branches, they're a way of making people feel comfortable in the branch, and as if these books are there for them and that they can pick them up and take them, and encourages them.
What people don't always see is, in order to do a job like that well, you have to be extremely enthusiastic and in touch with the mission of the library. You really have to believe in what you're writing about. And as someone with the privilege and the pleasure of watching them from a front row seat every day, they do it expertly and usually very calmly and coolly.
Above the entryway to the Rosemary Reading Room is a quote from Milton. And if you look at it, you can see that it has this 17th century typography, the long S, 17th century spellings. They'd never let you get away with that nowadays.
Well, so we just wanted to start by first thanking the Chiefs for giving us this award, for nominating us. It's a huge honor, and to us, what a great video, that just cracked us up, everything that was said in it. The thing that's really fun about being up here is that we're normally the people on the other side of the mic, writing the speeches, putting together the presentations, so it's really funny to be up here and to be doing it. It's a huge honor, so thank you. And just in particular, we want to call out a few people and a few thank yous, starting with Carrie, who thank you very much for your support and your leadership and all that we work on, from the Knowledge is Power card and the library card drive, the Black Friday ad, all the things that communications works on. We also want to thank all of our colleagues in communications. Angela, everything you said just really cracked me up in that video, so thank you. All of our colleagues in comms and the partners that we work with so frequently across the organization. And just lastly, we want to thank all of you here, because everything that Creative Services does and works on is really just to support the work that we all do and that we all do together. So thank you, and as we look ahead, we're just excited to do more together and continue to work together to just bring the library to more people and just encourage more people to read more. So thank you.
First thing you notice about Victor is that his big smile on his face, and you kind of want to be around him.
Vic is one of those guys, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone that had a bad thing to say about Vic.
The second thing you notice about Victor is he has the ugliest shirts in New York Public Library history. He wears the brightest shirts I've ever seen, but I'm just kidding.
For those who know Victor, know that he's a very outgoing, very charismatic individual who I think loves life, loves people, loves his family, and I think loves the library.
He's one of the staff that we have in New York Public Library that will really go out of his way to make sure that he's there to support you.
His nature is to want to help people. It's much like the library way. The NYPL is very much people-oriented and helping people, and I think Victor fits into that mold.
Curious enough to ask, like, what happened? What other ways can I help you? And being resourceful enough that always loops in the appropriate parties to make sure that the staff, one, is always feeling safe and comfortable, the patrons as well.
Well, every time he handles an incident, the branch feels a little more safer, a little more secure.
He's so enthusiastic about the job, he makes you want to do your job even better.
So Victor makes people feel safe, and that is so important.
Anyone who's met Victor and worked with Victor can really attest to that as well and say he really has your back.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry, good morning. I wrote down a little bit of what I wanted to say to thank everyone. I am really pleased, honored, and humbled to accept this award. Thank you, Michael Alvarez, Giselle Dixon, for nominating me. I've been at the library for 19 to 20 years. I'm pleased to know that my work is appreciated and is being recognized. To the wonderful Bronx Library managers, ADs, and I will continue support you in every way. I can say thanks to all site managers in the Bronx area, Manhattan, Staten Island, associate directors, Kathleen, Michael, Gene Panfield, the maintenance crew with the John Tyler, Daniel De Hoyos, and all the staff in Bronx Center. Thanks everyone, Sal Magadino, Book Drops, Richard Kump, which are people that have many patrons happy when they get their books or videos on time. ITG team, which are helping us with the computers, and sometimes I'm at the library and I get this technician fixing one of the computers, and there's a little kid that comes around, sir, are you gonna fix number 1 computer, number 5 computer so I can use it? And say, yes, right on the way. Thanks everyone here and everybody at the library for helping us to make the public happy. To our team, sorry to leave you behind, but thank you, Tom, Donnie, trying to bring the shirt with the stripes of Birds Awesome. Give me a little joke around. Diego, Mick, Mark, thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
The logistics team truly leads the library by getting the knowledge that our neighbors want and need and deserve to them every single day and night in a way that is efficient and safe and excellent.
They're the best in the world at what they do. They're the most efficient team in the world because we have visitors come from all over the place and say it so.
This is a team with a serious can-do attitude.
As far as I can tell, their motto is, yes, we can.
Last year, this team sorted over 7.5 million items, and they were responsible for millions of items getting to the branches.
So nothing that my department does would be possible without the logistics team. That means summer reading, early literacy kits, our early literacy backpacks, our launch pads, and they do it with a smile.
They're kind of invisible to everybody else. If it wasn't for their hard work, our patrons wouldn't get the materials they do.
They're also pretty hilarious.
I wouldn't be anywhere without them.
I'm proud to be part of that team.
To the entire team, whom I'm so proud to call colleagues, congratulations.
Good morning, everyone. I want to take the time one more time to congratulate the reigning sorting champions. One of the things we're most proud of, actually, is watching all these videos and seeing the t-shirts, the flyers, pamphlets, all these things that promote the great projects that you guys come up with, the library card campaign, summer reading, advocacy. Every shirt that you've gotten throughout the years has been packed and delivered by these folks behind you. We love getting those emails saying, hey, I wanted my shirt in a large, not a medium. It's great. We only took care of 3,000, 5,000 shirts. But we're very happy to do this, and this is a team that drives, this is the backbone of the library, And before I leave, because this is very brief, I just want to thank our leader, Sam Magadino. He provides us with the resources, and more important, he empowers us. He trusts us to do the job. Thank you.
All right, let's hear it one more time for all of our winners today. Awesome work. We had a lot of people on our live stream, but if your team or a member of you want to watch it again, it will be live on Lair later today. Working together, important, so I would be remiss if not to thank and congratulate my colleagues in HR and communications who help us put this fabulous program together. So thank you to all of them. And we have goodies for you as you leave the auditorium, so please be sure to take some swag with you. It's my pleasure to introduce Kevin, who was our wonderful host today. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. What a pleasure to have you all here, and thank you, Craig, and thank you, Tony, for taking the Library Leadership Awards on the road and choosing us, Schomburg Center, to host them. I also want to thank and congratulate, I should say again, all the individuals, departments, the divisions recognized by this year's Excellence Awards. You guys all are tremendous, and I was struck by the passion, the diversity, and the strength of the winners. You're also in line with Jesse Norman and Claudia Rankin and such wonderful people, so let's give them another round of applause. I've never seen sorting seem so amazing. I want to join. I would be remiss if I didn't draw an analogy between the service of you all to the New York City community as a whole and the passionate work of Arturo Schomburg, our founder. As you know, he believed deeply in literacy and agency, and that it was owed to all people. And his collecting, which began in essence by being told there was no black culture while he was a young kid in Puerto Rico, and he set out to prove that teacher wrong. We're here in a building that I think shows that the teacher was wrong, but thank you for insulting him. We love honoring his memory, and we're thinking a lot these days about his commitment to black literacy, to black librarianship as well, and we're doing a lot of studies that we hope to share with you soon about that very idea. The house that Arturo imagined with inspiration and the efforts of librarians, authors, artists, historians, it all lives here at the Schomburg Center. And his initial sale of his material of 10,000 items in 1926 has bloomed to 11 million here. And so we really treasure that legacy and try to honor it every day. And these awards remind me how much everyone contributes to that. We've worked with many of the people who won these awards, and it's great to see you up here. We're also really committed uptown to the notion of home to Harlem and bringing the sons and daughters of Harlem home. It's very much an initiative we're working on, and it's a theme we're thinking through. And it plays in everything from exhibitions to programming to our recent acquisitions, some of which you heard about, the lost chapter of the Malcolm X autobiography, which was on display and is now open to researchers. We have had James Baldwin's papers and Sonny Rollins' papers, the papers of Ann Petrie, the wonderful black woman who's the first black woman to write a bestseller in 1946. We're really proud to have her notebooks from going back from when she's 12 years old. And the most recent acquisition that we announced was the papers of Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis. So it's really been exciting to see people responding and folks in the community coming out to see that material up close. Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis, of course, acted in our American Negro Theater, which is downstairs, and there's an exhibition there, if you care to look, of some of our teen curators put together. It's a really lovely show. I also would encourage you to see the Black Power exhibition, which is just up the stairs out from the lobby, or you can take the elevator. For those of you who've not viewed it, it's closing at noon, so you gotta get in there. We kept it open just for you. This is the last day of the showing, and I hope you take a few minutes to see sort of the 60s legacy and see the spark that was Black Power and take note of its historic significance and really it's building out what we're all here for today. With that, I want to call upon President Tony Marks to bring today's festivities to a close. Thanks again.
So first, again, thanks to Kevin and the Schomburg team for having us here. Thanks to everyone who made, Craig and everyone else who made today possible, Terry, everyone, so thank you. Congratulations to all the winners. We are all winners. Thank you for that. Do go up and see the Black Power show. It's really quite amazing. That one is closing today, otherwise I'd send you downstairs. I just went and looked at it again. It's incredible. Thank you. I cannot tell you, I don't know if I'm the only person in the room, maybe not, who just is overwhelmed at this kind of event where you see the breadth of the effort and the passion and the power and the diversity and the commitment of all of you. I don't think I've ever worked in a place that had all of that in the abundance that this institution has. Doesn't mean we don't make mistakes. Doesn't mean that sometimes things go awry. That's life. Look at the world. It's definitely life. But this institution, what you make possible, all I can say, to be completely honest, is I have never been more proud to be associated with any group of people in my life. On behalf of millions of New Yorkers and millions of people who visit, thank you all for making it possible.